Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to Eons of Battle. All 40k armies now have their combat patrols, and actually some of them have already been refreshed. And that's what has me a little bit worried. I like seeing the changes, but some combat patrols are absolutely stellar, and some of them absolutely suck and do need to be refreshed. So I thought I would go through every single combat patrol, grading them on 3 scales. Crunchiness, how good each unit is in game. This is kind of all over the place in the combat patrols, but how likely am I to want and to take every single unit that comes in that box in every one of my games of Warhammer 40k? This one is arguably the most important one, but I don't think it's everything. Another thing to look at is value, how much money you're saving with each box. The combat patrols are pretty consistent with how much money you're saving. You can usually look at it like you're getting 1 unit in each box for free. And what I would consider the most important factor, and the often overlooked factor, is the pew pew factor. Is this, in fact, an army in a box? If I set up all of these miniatures, would I want to play Toy Soldier on my desk? I guess another way to look at it would be like, you got this box for Christmas, you come down Christmas morning, did Santa hook you up? That's like, that kind of, to me, that's the most important thing about the combat patrols is, do they just look like a heck of a lot of fun? With all that in mind, I'm gonna be grading every single combat patrol box, and we'll see who wins, and we'll see which box shouldn't exist. Starting off with one of the newer boxes, Combat Patrol Space Marines, built out of the bones of Leviathan. This one comes with 5 Terminators, 5 Infernus Marines, Librarian in Terminator armor, and Captain in Terminator armor. This box stinks. I think this box might stink on all 3 criteria. Terminators are fine. Their kind of spot in Space Marine Codex has kind of been stepped on by Assault Marines, which are considerably cheaper and do have a lot of the same abilities that the Terminators do. 5 Infernus Marines? Everyone probably has the 10 already from Leviathan, so there's not that big a point to getting 5. And I feel like because they're flamers, you kind of want to max out the number of dice you're rolling, because 5 probably won't cut it. And then there's kind of no point to having 1 squad of Terminators, but 2 characters in Terminator armor. So you're either going to take the Librarian or the Captain. So kind of in terms of crunchiness, it fails. But also in terms of value, it fails, because if you add up the cost of buying all of these units, if you bought all of these things separately, it would be like $170. So you're saving $10, but actually you're not, because these are the sprues from Leviathan, so they're monopose. If you purchase these separately, you'd get access to the multi-part Terminator kit, which is incredible and comes with Cyclone Missile Launcher, which you absolutely want. And you get the Captain and Terminator armor with all of the different weapon loadouts if you don't want to take the Power Sword, which you definitely might not want to. So all in all, I think this box is a super pass. I'm gonna give it, it comes with models. It's hard to give it an F, but I might give it an F. It's pretty bad. You really shouldn't buy this box. Moving on to the other side of Leviathan though, the Tyranid Combat Patrol. This one comes with a lot of bugs. I think on the pew pew factor, this one is really, really good. You get 20 Gaunts, 5 Barber Gaunts, 3 Von Ryan Leapers, Psychophage, and you get 1 Ripper Swarm? Or no, you get 2 Ripper Swarms. 2 little Ripper Swarms, and you get the Winged Tyranid Prime. Now, I think that is a wonderful amount of plastic and is definitely very good value. However, in terms of the crunch factor, none of these units are very good. Knowing what I know now, having played many, many, many games with my Tyranid army, the Leviathan units are risky. They're not very efficient. The Barber Gaunts are definitely a decent unit, and the Von Ryan's Leapers can be good, but Gaunt, Psychophage, and Tyranid Prime are all kind of right on the edge of, well, they're not in my Tyranid list, so that should tell you something. Actually, the Von Ryans aren't even in my list. I do take the Barbaras. So I do think this box is very good, but in terms of the crunch factor, and the Tyranids just got their codex, so none of these points values and things are changing anytime soon, I would give it a C. But like, I'm not mad at it a C. It's like a high C. It's flavored orange. It's pretty tasty. It's the Tyranid Combat Patrol. Moving on to another Xenos, we've got Combat Patrol Necrons. I really like the Necron Combat Patrol. I took this in a Combat Patrol tournament and did very poorly, but it wasn't the Combat Patrol's fault, it was my fault. You get 3 Scorpec Destroyers, you get the Necron Overlord with Tachyon Arrow, although you can just say he has the Resorb because he's got all sorts of Necron balls on him, so just say he has the Res Orb, 10 Warriors, 3 Scarab Swarms, and the Doom Stalker. I love the Doom Stalker. It's nice, it's cheap, it's powerful. I want 3 of them in a Necron army. This, I feel like, is like a really good combat patrol. This is what I like to see. Big, fun, scary vehicle, cool hero, a smattering of trooper-style units. Like, this is a really good box. In terms of the crunch factor, the Scorpex are okay. You can always use some warriors, but the resurrection isn't as good as it used to be. But overall, I think all of these units are totally solid. I gotta give this box an A. This, for right now, this is the gold standard of combat patrols. And speaking of very good combat patrols, Combat Patrol Adeptus Mechanicus. You got 5 Petraxi, 10 Skitari, the Cerberus Riders, you got the Iron Father Manipulator, and that's it. But that's enough. It's really good. I like this box a lot. It comes with a lot of really fun units. It doesn't have a vehicle in it, and I like to see vehicles in it because, kind of going back to that Christmas morning analogy, like putting together guys is fun, but putting together vehicles is a different, unique, and also very fun experience. And so I like when these boxes come with both. This one doesn't really come with both, but it does come with the Petraxi, which are very big, kind of flappy, winged things. So you do get a lot of really, really fun building in this box. I don't know that much about the Adeptus Mechanicus. It does seem like an odd assortment of units, but it's kind of, you could kind of say that about anything in the Adeptus Mechanicus Codex because their units are weird. Have you looked at the Adeptus Mechanicus lately? It is a weird collection of just the weirdest little inventions and like mad scientist stuff going on. It's a lot of fun. I gotta give Combat Patrol Adeptus Mechanicus, I'll give them a very solid B. I would like to see a vehicle, but I still think it is a very good combat patrol. Oh boy, moving on to the Space Marines. Space Marines are all over the place. I mean, Space Marines already got an F. Let's see what happens. Combat Patrol Space Wolves. I'm okay with this box. You get 10 Intercessors. Everyone has Intercessors. You get the Sneaky Dreadnoughts, the Invictor Tactical Warsuit, which is a very, very cool looking kit. And you get arguably the worst unit in all of Space Marines, the Reavers, but they're actually kind of good in Space Wolves when you can take them as the Hounds of Mordecai. And you get the very cool custom Space Wolves Captain. 10 Intercessors is a lot of Intercessors, but I feel like this box is really held up by the Invictor Tactical Warsuit. It's a really monstrously big kit. It provides a lot of value to the box. Running them as the Hounds of Mordecai is the way to do Reavers. If you are another Space Marine chapter, probably don't buy the Space Wolves box because you don't want Reavers. I think, but it's not a bad box, and you get that nice, big, tanky Dreadnought. I think that this is also a solid B. Even though it's 10 Intercessors, it's still 10 Intercessors. It's a lot of Space Marine bodies. I would have such a fun time going pew-pew and pushing all of these models across my table. Oof. Combat Patrol Deathwatch. Deathwatch is a really cool chapter of Space Marines. Actually, they're almost not even a chapter. They're almost their own thing like the Grey Knights. All Space Marines give a tithe of their Marines to the Deathwatch, and then the Deathwatch work together to take out like the worst of the worst alien threats. So what did Games Workshop put in this box? They put 3 Aggressors, 10 Tactical Marines again, the incredibly lame Deathwatch Captain, and the Apothecary. Boy, oh boy, 10, just more and more Intercessors. It's not that interesting, and I really feel like they messed up because the Deathwatch actually have access to 4 units that are all called kill teams. They all are kill team asterisk something else. And you can actually mix and match all of the different types of Primaris units, like Aggressors, Eradicators, Inceptors, the Sniper guys. Like, you can mix and match them all. And I think that's really cool, but it's really hard to do because you gotta buy all these boxes. If I wanna put one bike in a squad with a bunch of jump pack guys, I had to buy the jump pack guys and the bike box. But if all of that stuff came in the Combat Patrol, that would be great. It doesn't. You just get Aggressors and regular plain Jane Space Marines, and the plainest Jane of all the Space Marine captains. Just sortie up. That's what I call that guy. He's called sortie up. The Apothecary's cool. You probably won't take him. He's a little bit expensive for what he does, and for the units he can attach to. You're probably not that worried about losing Marines, so I don't know. It's not, Aggressors are good. Apothecary is fine. It's probably not an F. but it's gotta be a D. It's gotta be a big old D. Next up, we got Combat Patrol Blood Angels. I think that this is a Space Marine box done right. You get only five intercessors, but instead of getting the rest of the 5 intercessors, you get 5 incursors or infiltrators. And then you get aggressors, and you get the impulsor, and you get a captain or a librarian. I think this is a really good box. You actually get more units because they didn't just give you 10 intercessors, they actually split it up and let you have more different types of Space Marine units. Getting 5 intercessor or incursors or infiltrators is really, really good because of their spicy abilities they come with. The aggressors are excellent. The impulsor is excellent. It's a really big, chonky, it's the new Rhino. It's the new sexy, cool Rhino. Combat Patrol Blood Angels is pretty darn solid. This is almost one of those boxes where you might want to buy 2 of them, just because you're gonna want these units. Maybe not 2 librarians, but definitely everything else. I think it's a really, really solid box. It should deserve an A. It has a vehicle, it has everything I like in it. It has really good quality units. I think I gotta give it an A. I think it's a really good Combat Patrol. All right, hopefully the good times are gonna keep on rolling. Combat Patrol Death Guard. The Death Guard box is poopy. And I don't mean that in a good way, because Death Guard. This box, it's kind of right on the line. So the good about it is you get 7 Plague Marines, really good auto-include unit. You get the Biologus Putrefier, excellent. You get the guy, what's his name? He's not Mortarion, he's the bad guy, or the badder version of Mortarion. He's like the guy who ruined the Death Guard. Typhus, the Lord of Corruption. Like, those 3 units, super incredibly solid. You're like always gonna take them in your lists. 30 Poxwalkers. That's what the rest of the box is. No cool vehicle, no other cool Death Guard-y anything. It's just a bunch of Poxwalkers. And you might, I guess if you're gonna go Poxwalkers in your army, it's probably gonna be a large number, so you probably will end up owning 30. But I would rather, it'd be like if the Orc box came with just tons of Gretchen. It's just not, it's not a fun inclusion into this box. Of all of the different super cool plaguey things that could be in this box, just a ton of zombies. I feel like, Christmas morning, I put together the 7, 8, 9 Plague Marines that come in this box, and then the rest of my month is gonna be Poxwalkers. It's not gonna be that much fun. It comes with some really good stuff, minus the Poxwalkers, so I can't give it an F, but I do think it needs a D. It seriously needs to be relooked at by Games Workshop because it's not cutting the mustard, but it is cutting the cheese, because Plague Marines, they fart. Next up, taking a look at Combat Patrol Cari. I might be slightly biased because I love the Cari, and I have this Combat Patrol. This is a great Combat Patrol. 2 big honkin' vehicles in this box. You got the Raider and the Ravager. 10 of the regular foot soldier Cari. You got the Incubi, you got the Archon. It's a really solid box. These are really solid units in a Dark Eldar army. Everyone's taking 3 Ravagers. You don't leave home without 3 Ravagers. 2 vehicles, 1 Combat Patrol. And it's not like 2 vehicles, you don't get any troops. 2 vehicles, you get all the troops you need. It's great. It's an A. It's a solid A Combat Patrol. I have nothing bad to say about it. Maybe if I'm just super crazy nitpicking, I would probably rather have, like, instead of the Incubi, I'd rather have Rax, just because that's like what I would like to play. But the Incubi are perfectly fine, and they actually just got a points decrease, so they're doing pretty good. Ooh, moving on to a slightly controversial Combat Patrol, Adeptus Sororitas. This one I go back and forth on, because I think this box maxes out the Pew Pew, but maybe fails in the crunch. It comes with very good units. It comes with Zephyrim, it comes with a Rhino, it comes with the Flaily dudes, it comes with the Nude dudes, it comes with 10 Battle Sisters, it comes with a Penitent engine. Like, it's got so many units, so much plastic, so much different plastic. Christmas morning, you're not even gonna experience the entirety of Sisters of Battle. It's gonna take you a couple of days to get all of these different units built and you get to have all these fun experiences. But it does come with awkward numbers of things. It comes with 5 Repentia instead of 10. You probably do want 10, not just 5. It comes with 3 Argoflagellants. You can take them in squads of 3, but you're probably gonna wanna take them in squads of 5 or 10. It comes with only 1 Penitent engine when a box usually comes with 2. And the reason for all of this weirdness and how many things you get is because this is built out of a very old box, the Sisters of Battle Army box. When Sisters of Battle first came out, I think in 2016 or 2017, Games Workshop teased the Sisters of Battle by giving you this box that had a little smattering of all of the different units in it. And that's what this box is built out of. And it's tricky because it's great in terms of what you get, but it's kind of like, well, now I kind of have to buy another box of Repentia, and I kind of have to buy another box of Argos. The Rhino is still great, the Battle Sisters are still great, the Canoness is still great, the Seraphims are really great. Like, it still comes with a lot of really good juice. I don't think I can give it an A, though, for that reason. So I'm gonna give it a B, a super solid B. I'm not doing pluses or minuses, but it would be a B+. But I'm not doing it, just a B. A high B. Moving on to Combat Patrol Orcs, the good old-fashioned wah. This box isn't bad. You get 20 Orc boys, you get the War Boss in Mega Armor, you get a Death Dread, one of my favorite 40k models, and arguably a really good unit in-game. Maybe double check me on this, but I'm pretty sure you can swap out the 4 arms with anything you want. You can give them all the plasma guns. You can have a Death Dread running around without any arms and 4 plasma guns. I want to run 2 of those. That actually sounds kind of amazing. Throw a mech in there to keep them safe and maybe up their ballistic skill a little bit. Like, they might actually be really, really good. And if you just put on the regular arms, it's a really good bully unit. 2-up armor save. Like, I like the Death Dread a lot. And you get Def Coptas. Def Coptas are really good for that one mission where you got to secure the corners. Def Coptas are pretty darn good. They also are just kind of las cannons for the Orcs that only go off on 5s and 6s. It's a weird little unit, but a really, really solid little unit. If you can keep them alive towards endgame, they're really good at rushing command points. Like, they're good. I think it's a decent box. It's a little awkward to get the War Boss in Mega Armor, because you don't have anything to attach them to in this box. I get, because you can't attach them to the regular boys. You'd have to attach them to Knobs in Mega Armor. So he's a little bit iffy, but maybe if you just throw him in a truck all by himself and just use him as a bully, there could be some play there. It's an okay box. I think I would put it at the same level as the Sisters of Battle, probably a nice solid B. That Death Dread though. Nice cool vehicle. Christmas morning, how happy would I be? I think I'd be B. I would be pretty happy with Santa. Combat Patrol Black Templars. I am absolutely not biased when I say this is an A box. It is a great, amazing box. Now, the only thing not perfect in this box, it comes with an Impulsor, it comes with the Crusader Squad, 5 Intercessors, and the Marshal. All some really cool Black Templar stuff. I think the thing that makes this box absolutely perfect is if you play Black Templar, it's perfect. It comes with the Black Templar upgrade frame, which gives you all the bits you need to really glam up your 5 Intercessors and your Repulsor. And it also comes with the Multi-Melta to put on your Repulsor, because you essentially get free Multi-Meltas for 5 points, basically free. So this box is perfect. Like, my Black Templar army is 3 of these boxes. It's great. I end up with a lot of Marshals, but even Marshals are kind of useful because they mostly look like Sword Brethren. So you can just like not glue on the cape or something and then just use them as a Sword Brethren to turn your regular Intercessors into Crusader squads. It's a really, really great box. I gotta give it an A. If you're not a Black Templar player, there's no reason to buy it, but that's kind of true of all of these boxes, isn't it? I'm giving it an A. Fight me. Combat Patrol to Ow Empire. I don't know why there's a hyphen now. I like this box a lot. I've heard it comes with 3 stealth suits, 10 fire warriors, tons and tons of drones, the Ghost Keel battle suit, a fire blade, and the very old at this point plastic ethereal. I think this box is fine. The Ghost Keel battle suit is one of the coolest units the Tau have. It definitely has some play in game. I think it has the infiltrate rule and it's huge. So you can essentially have like a giant monster out on the field before the battle's even begun. And I feel like stealth suits get a lot of poop thrown at them. I think stealth suits are actually really good. They remind me a lot of units like the Mandrakes or Space Marine Infiltrators. And they actually have an even better rule. They can give you, I think, rapid ingress for free without spending a command point. And you can bring in a Tau unit from strategic reserves within 3 inches of the stealth suits. Like, they're not a beat stick. They're not really a great gun platform. They're not gonna do a lot of punching. But I feel like their abilities are really good. They have stealth, so they're hard to kill. They have infiltrate, as I said. Like, I think that there's definitely a lot of play with the stealth suits. I definitely don't think they're a bad unit at all. I think that this is a lovely little Tau box, Pathfinders probably would have been a little bit better than Fire Warriors, but Fire Warriors are still just fine. They've got some pretty decent shooting, especially with the Fireblade attached to them. So I think that this is a lovely little box. You get tons of models, you get all sorts of drones, you get that humongous ghost keel. Oh, is it an A or a B? Is it an A or a B? I'm gonna give it, I guess maybe it's just because I don't know that much about the Tau, but I think I might give it an A. I think it's a really solid Combat Patrol. Oh, but speaking of things that are not a solid Combat Patrol, Combat Patrol 1000 Suns. Remember when I had a couple of nice things to say about the Death Guard Combat Patrol? Boy, oh boy, the 1000 Suns Combat Patrol. Scarab Occult Terminators, you get 5 of them. You get the Accursed Sorcerer, but then you get 20 Zangors. Now, it's not just because Zangors as a unit aren't really in a great place right now, but this is the 1000 Suns box. It should come with some 1000 Suns. It should come with some Rubric Marines. It should come with some Sorcerers. Maybe even throw the Dreadnought in there. There's no vehicle. It's 20 Zangors. And here's another problem with the Zangors. So this box is also bad in terms of value because $60 of value in this box is actually wrapped up in the 1000 Suns Zangors upgrade frames. For $15, you can buy 5 pairs of bolt pistols and chainswords, or las pistols and chainswords. No one glues those to their Zangors. If you're gonna take Zangors, you take Zangor blades. Nobody is going out of their way to spend even more money on their Zangors. The only reason to pick up Combat Patrol 1000 Suns right now is if for some reason you want 20 Zangors with the chainswords and las pistols. There's no other reason to pick up this box. It's just real bad. I think I gotta give it an F. That's another F box right there. Ooh, but speaking of F boxes, Combat Patrol Grey Knights. I'm not that upset with Combat Patrol Grey Knights. I think there's not a ton you can do with Grey Knights. In theory, all of these boxes are about 500 points of models in game. And so this box comes with the Baby Carrier, the Dread Knight, it comes with the Strike Squad, it comes with Terminators, and it comes with the Librarian. Now, usually Grey Knight Strike Squads are in units of 10. You get 10, you buy a box of 10. This only comes with 5. And the reason you only get 5 is because they ran out of space for sprues in the box, then I'm sort of okay with it. If they didn't give you 5 extra Strike Squad because the points, I think that's super dumb because the points for these boxes are all over the place. This is kind of an older Combat Patrol, but it's not that great value monetarily. It comes with some very good units in game. I think the Giant Nemesis Dread Knight is a really, really fun thing to get, and the Librarian and Terminator armor is excellent, and the Terminators. Overall, I think it's a B box that's like right on the edge of a C. Like if a couple more Bs fly out of the B box, it's gonna slide down to a C. But speaking of Cs, Combat Patrol Eldari. I love Combat Patrol Eldari, and I don't even like the elves, but this is what I like to see out of a Combat Patrol. You get the Wraith Knight, you get your Eldar Guardians, you get your Warlock, you get not 1 box, but 2 boxes of bikes, so 6 total. You get a lot of hobby mileage out of this box. You get kind of a dreadnoughty thing, you get things that are up on flying stands. Even with the Guardian Squad, you get their weird floaty baby tank thingy that comes with the squad that's like the heavy weapon platform. I really, really like this box. It's got a little bit of everything and enough of everything. It's not just 3 bikes. 3 bikes is like, all right, now I gotta go out and buy more bikes. Full squad of 6 bikes, now we're cooking with gas. That's something you can bring in a game and have it do some serious work. I really like this box a lot. It's one of those, like, if you're doing like just tons of bikes for your army, you might get multiples of this box. I guess you probably don't want extra Wraith Lords. You might want 2. 2 could be nice, but yeah, it's a really good box. A. Absolute A. Combat Patrol Adeptus Custodes. This box is pretty darn solid. You get 5 Custodes, you get 3 bikes, you get 2 squads of 5 Sisters of Silence. Now, the Sisters of Silence are a little bit of a problem crunch-wise, but I actually think they add so much flavor pew-pew-wise that it saves the box for me. Because there's 2 reasons. There's a monetary reason and just a cool factor reason. The Sisters of Silence pad out this box. So instead of just getting 5 more Custodes, you get 10 more bodies. They're a basic trooper. You probably will only ever have 10 in your army, And the Sisters of Silence are in a very frustrating spot price-wise right now, because instead of coming in a box of 10 like most things do, they come in a squad of 5. So they're really frustrating money-wise. It costs too much money to buy them. So having 2 squads in this box for a discount, I actually feel like it feels pretty good. You don't really get a lot of models. The bikes are pretty darn big, so they sort of fulfill that vehicle role for me, but I would give Combat Patrol Adeptus Custodes, I would give it a B. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. And speaking of the definition of absolutely fine, Combat Patrol Chaos Space Marines. 10 Chaos Space Marines, 5 Havocs, a Dark Apostle, and the Hellbrute. It all feels very vanilla. A friend of mine played Chaos growing up. I've read every Chaos Codex I think they've ever published. It doesn't have a lot of the sexy coolness that a lot of the more modern Chaos stuff has, but it is like bog standard Marines, Devastator Marines, a classic Dreadnought, not big and cool like the new Redemptor Dreadnought, just an old small box Dreadnought. It does kind of feel like one of the old school Start Collectings more than Combat Patrol. But it does come with the Havocs, which are very good, although frustratingly, they only come with 1 of each heavy weapon, so you're gonna end up with 4 different Havocs, even though in-game, you're probably gonna all want them to have las cannons, or all have autocannons. So that's a little bit annoying. There's ways of fudging it, but overall, the Dreadnought is cool, but I don't know if I can give it a B. It's a C. I think it's a C. It's okay. I would like to see a new one with some of the cool, like maybe the guy riding the giant spider, or just some of the more interesting Chaos units. Maybe even go back to some of the older sprues, like the monopose sprues, so that you can get more plastic for your money. But yeah, Combat Patrol Space Marines, it's a C. It passes the class. Combat Patrol Gene Stealer Cults. This one's an A, super solid A. You get 2 boxes of the normal little neophytes. You get the Neophyte hybrids, and then you get the squad of 5 Acolyte hybrids. You get 5 Aberrants, which is one of my favorite models. You get the Goliath Rock Grinder. You get the Magus. This box is actually much better value monetarily than a lot of the other Combat Patrols. I think because Games Workshop realized that Gene Stealer Cult is about as hordy an army as you can possibly get, and paying for that horde is horrifying. So they came up with a really, really good Start Collecting to make sure that people can actually get the models that they need for a price they can maybe fudge. Like, it's a much needed, and it's a very, very good box. A. Combat Patrol Chaos Demons. I also think this is another Horde Army and another solid box. You get a lot of blood things. You got blood, the Blood Captain, the Blood Letters, the Blood Hounds, the Blood Crushers. You get a lot of bodies in this box. And so even though it doesn't come with a vehicle, which I would prefer, there aren't really a lot of vehicles for demons, so I get why it doesn't come with it. And getting 10 Blood Hounds and 20 Blood Crushers, and then 3 Blood Letters, or 3 Blood Crushers, like, you get a ton of bodies. If you're playing the demons, you want a sea of red, and this box will help you to get to a sea of red. It does come with a lot of guys, but they're kind of older models. I would give it a B. I think it's super solid box, but it's no standout. Oh no, and speaking of no standout, Combat Patrol Leagues of Votann. Leagues of Votann players, I'm so sorry. This box, it comes with 10 Hearthguard, 3 Hearthkin Pioneers, and then you get the Shirtless Dudes, the Sidonian Dragoons? No, that's a different army. Chthonian Berserkers. See how I flipped it there? There's a lot of different units in Warhammer 40,000, and you get to call. It's less than 20 models. It's almost nothing. It's not a lot of plastic. It's not a lot of very small models. You don't get much bang for your buck. In terms of usability, the Chthonian Berserkers have some play, and the Hearthkin Pioneers are like decent, but this isn't enough. Like, they need to at least double the number of Hearthkin Warriors you get, or maybe give you one of the buggies, one of the little moon buggies. I don't know what Games Workshop is thinking with this box, but man, does it feel really, really lame. And I think a perfect way to demonstrate its incredible lameness, looking at Combat Patrol World Eaters. Combat Patrol World Eaters comes with 20 Khorne Berserkers, and that's not even it. So Combat Patrol World Eaters comes with more Space Marines than Combat Patrol Leagues of Votann comes with models. It's wild. Combat Patrol Leagues Votann is an F. It is an absolute F. I think the only reason you'd buy it is because it's technically a deal. Combat Patrol World Eaters is very good. If you want to cover the galaxy in blood, you're gonna want this box. 20 Khorne Berserkers, Khorne Lord on Juggernaut, 10 Jackals, which are the roided up cultists. This is a really, really good box. It doesn't really come with a vehicle, but Chaos Space Marines don't have access to a lot of great vehicles, and ones that fit in well with the World Eaters theme. I think as a World Eaters player, you're not gonna be upset getting 20 Khorne Berserkers instead of 10 and something else. I think this is a decent box. I would give it a solid B, very solid B. Moving on to Combat Patrol Astra Militarum, another newer box. This one, I'm a little bit prejudiced because Sean plays the Astra Militarum and he beats me all the time, but I do think this is a very good Combat Patrol. You get 20 Cadians, you get the Cadian Command Squad, you get the Sentinel, which is a beautiful kit, and you get 2 Ordnance teams. I think in a perfect world, you already got a vehicle with the Sentinel, but in a perfect world for me, they would have replaced the Ordnance batteries with a Chimera or maybe even a Russ. That would be like perfect, but still you get tons and tons of Imperial Guard bodies, you get the beautiful Sentinel, the Ordnance batteries are okay. They're not a vehicle, but they're decent. I think this is a very, very solid box. It's sort of an A box, but I don't want to give it an A because Sean plays the Astra Militarum. So, you know what? And it doesn't come with a Chimera or a Russ instead of those Ordnance batteries. So I'm gonna make, that's the reason it's getting a B. It's not because of Sean. It doesn't deserve an A and is getting a B. It's, you know what? It's all Sean's fault. And last but not least, before we get to that last box, let me tell you about our Patreon. Over there, we have a new set of terrain every month. This month, it's the modular Gothic buildings. These impressive structures are designed with competitive wargaming in mind. They are in the perfect size, shape, and have functional windows for all of your line of sight blocking needs. And this set also comes with a selection of Cyber Cherubs for decorating your miniatures and terrain. And if you always want to be up to date on the goings on here at Eons of Battle and be entered into our monthly giveaways, this month we're picking 3 followers to receive this month's terrain. You can follow the link in the description below to sign up to our newsletter. This last Combat Patrol is the Combat Patrol that kind of got me thinking about Combat Patrols because I didn't know they were going to change. But when Combat Patrol Dark Angels changed from the beautiful box with the Redemptor Dreadnought and the Jumpy Boy Space Marines, and it became this. That's what had me worried that all the boxes are gonna change, not just the bad ones, but we'll see what happens. This box isn't bad. You get 10 Intercessors, bleh. You get 5 Hellblasters, you get 3 Blade Guard veterans, and you oddly get the Primaris Captain in Gravis armor. Some of these units are excellent. Hellblasters are phenomenal. Well, they're not phenomenal, but they definitely have some serious play in 10th edition. I would much rather have 10 Hellblasters and 5 Intercessors than 10 Intercessors and 5 Hellblasters. And the Blade Guard Veteran are super solid units. It's super worthwhile to attach them to a character, but unfortunately, they cannot attach to Captain and Gravis armor. Even though these in the box, you can't actually attach them together, so you're gonna have to run them separately. Captain and Gravis armor is kind of a tricky one. He can only attach to Gravis type units and Gravis type units without the fly keyword. So you're kind of stuck throwing a melee guy in with a bunch of shooty guys. It's a little bit tricky. I feel like this box is okay. I think this box is a C, but I think it deserves a C. You might buy it if you want these miniatures, but I don't think if you're a Dark Angels player, this Combat Patrol is lighting up your world. I don't think if you're an established Space Marine player, you're gonna want this box because you already have tons and tons of Intercessors. Really hard to use that Captain and Gravis armor. It's a C. It's got some decent stuff in there, but it's also got some junk. And so I wouldn't mind if Games Workshop, even though they just made this box, if they made this box again. Overall, that's how I would rank the Combat Patrols. Most of them are fine. There's actually kind of quite a few stinkers, but let me know in the comments below, how did your favorite Combat Patrol fare? Do you disagree with me on any of my choices? I will stand by my Adeptus Sororitas box. I think that box is great. And no matter if it doesn't come with exactly the right amount of things. Thanks for watching.